Hi guys, so I'm finally ready and prepped to head to the airport, the Vancouver airport. It's a short by ride, yeah, that's about it. I did go outside, check the same places yesterday that I could, this early morning walk, and it's a great city and everything, so very excited to go home. My flight, however, is super weird because I'm heading to Vancouver to Portland back, like on reverse to Seattle, and Seattle to San Jose. So what is exactly a 2-hour ride is now becoming more than 8 hours. So, and it's very weird, but nevertheless, thankful for being in Vancouver. Hope you all had fun as well watching all the videos. So time to head home, guys. There's no elevator, so I need to take the bag downstairs.
The next train to arrive on the outbound platform is for Richmond Greenhouse.
What's really funny is I'm in Vancouver right now, and there's San Francisco right there. So yeah, currently waiting for the other train to head to the airport. Guys, we are here, and yeah, I'm gonna head to the airport. Exited the YVR airport. Right now heading to international and USA flights. Let's go! Bye bye, Vancouver. So here's the airport. I mean, it was so wonderful, Vancouver. Thank you so much for being really nice to me. I had such an amazing time roaming the city and everything. So here's the airport. I was in the US flight section. Basically, you have different terminals. One is towards Canada or anything domestic within Canada, and then there's the international one. As usual, reach super early. My flight was at 2 and I reached there at around 11, because one thing, I get extremely paranoid, like so paranoid that I'm gonna miss my flight and stuff, and I had nothing much to do, so I just went to duty free, shopped, actually just window shopped, because everything is super expensive. Because you've seen my previous videos, everything is like hiked up, jacked up, you know, whatever, and they're all really high. So I just randomly went into the shops like every other tourist in the airport who have nothing much to do. I could have done something like watch some videos on YouTube, but you know what, I just wanted to just roam the airport so that I'll have more videos for you guys. YouTuber problems, am I right? So yeah, the airport was pretty big. It was pretty nice. Again, this was my second time going into Vancouver, because the first time I was there, I went from Vancouver to Toronto, but now I'm returning. So the arrival section, departure section, the gates all looked very different and strange, but nevertheless, just roaming around, lots of souvenirs and stuff. And I was like just going into some shops, checking it out. Everything was super expensive. I think I've reiterated this so many times. Duty free is expensive. So yeah, the airport itself was alright. I mean, I've seen better airports, but in the sense, it wasn't that bad. And there were a lot of arts, and there's a lot of murals and stuff. And yeah, pretty much everything was really cool. By the way, this particular bag is like $100. I think it's the Shawl Raven Cancan bag, which is like trending, and literally every Visco girl has it. And I was just checking it out. It was alright. It was very boxish, and I didn't see why people spend like $150, $160 for it, whereas the Herschel bags is like just $60, which is a bit reasonable. I mean, still on the expensive side, but hey, I mean, whatever. It's not like $150. So there were a lot of sales on it. So people were buying bags over here. I couldn't buy a bag because one, I had a bag as my carry-on, and when you're in the airport, you need to make sure that you don't have too many stuff, because then the airplane will charge you for money. So don't want to be doing that. Am I right? So yeah, so basically this is duty free. Roamed around. There were like different shops and stuff. And now after I spent like an hour, I had to like just head back. So this was my flight itinerary from Vancouver, Portland, Seattle, and San Jose. And I was like not prepared for what was coming. And yeah, it was insane, you guys, insane. So yeah, this is my first flight of the day from Vancouver to Portland. Really nice flights. I really like Alaska Airlines. I think they're my favorite airlines ever. I mean, within domestic within US. So I think they treat their people really nicely, the passengers really nicely. There's lots of room and headspace and stuff. They usually board on time, and yeah, pretty much everything is like awesome about them. And I shout out to Alaska in case you guys are watching. Sponsor me. So next time I can like just use them. So this is my like flight tradition, where I go and read the manual, safety manual, just look around and stuff. And obviously you can see there's no TV because it's a 1 hour flight, and lots of leg room, which is great, and no TV. So yeah, and the weird thing about this flight, I mean, not really weird, but the headroom, or the place where you keep the luggage or suitcase, were like really small. So you had to keep all the luggage vertically, not vertically but horizontally, but towards the side, which was weird. And as usual, I get the window seat because window seat is gold, window seat is bay. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So nobody sat next to me, which is great because extra leg room, you guys. And off we go to Portland. So Portland is in Oregon, the state, where it's tax free. So basically anything you buy there is like just the cost of the stuff, whereas anywhere else in the US, I mean, there are some states where you don't need to pay tax. I'm not sure about which ones are those, but yeah, you basically don't need to pay anything. And this is the Mount St. Helens from Vancouver. So Vancouver and Seattle are super close. So if we were to fly from Vancouver to Seattle, it'll be like a half hour or 15-minute plane ride. Just like you probably just take off and then you would just land. So that's how small, short of a plane ride it is, and which is like really funny. So yeah, so so Vancouver to Portland was like around 1 hour, 1.5 hours, because it did take time to take off, and there was like different stuff, procedures and stuff that they needed to do. And yeah, so this is how we did the takeoff. And by that time it was 2 o'clock, so it's like peak afternoon time, so you can see the sun nice and bright, which is great. And up and away we go. So finally, bye Vancouver, you were being very nice to me. I don't think we're gonna see each other again because I've like roomed everything in Vancouver, and Vancouver is a very small city, so you can pretty much see everything in a day. And if you need any ideas, the videos on the right hand link, so you can just check them out. So once we come here, we're going in the mountainous range, which is like the Mount Helens, which was really pretty. I mean, it was so pretty, you guys. I mean, obviously you can't see that, I mean, you can't see it here, but Mount Helens was once, it's actually a dormant volcano, so it can erupt anytime, but it's been extinct. I mean, it hasn't like erupted in a really long time, so it's pretty much that way. And yeah, so seeing those mountains up close was beautiful. So here we are in Portland. Finally, I have reached US. So a part of me was very relieved. I'm like finally leaving Canada, the Canadian soil and everything. Home is home, you guys. So yeah, Portland Airport. I just had like 15 minutes to board the plane, so I pretty much ran, and so the footage is really really small. The people were very nice with it, so I flew on Thanksgiving. So it's been a very long time. So they just said no matter which boarding group you guys are, just get in. You know, it's Thanksgiving, so they were feeling really really nice. In case you see this plane, it's all like tinted purple. That's the reason, because that it's actually a Virgin Atlantic plane. So Alaska actually bought Virgin Atlantic, so they basically reuse the same flights. And this is a three-seater, and it's a fairly large plane, and it was just 30 minutes, like just 30 minutes from Portland to Seattle. So I'm actually going back, like literally back, catapulting in reverse to Seattle. I know. So this is my second plane of the day, and obviously people are looking at me because I'm like recording and stuff. And but YOLO, you guys, YOLO, because I'm a YouTuber and I don't care about consequences. Not really. So if you can see, this is Portland. So I'm actually flying back to Seattle, and I was coming from Vancouver. So you can pretty much understand my frustration. And I think I was the only person in the whole plane on that day who actually did this weird ass flight. But comment down below in case you have done something super weird or super crazy like I have. Again, this was the cheapest flight I could find from Vancouver to San Jose. So I was like, oh, you know what, I know it looks insane, but you know what, YOLO. So this is Portland. I stayed like probably like 15 minutes, so I couldn't like really buy anything or something, or just brag that hey, I didn't actually spend on any taxes. But it's a beautiful city. You can see the orange skies. So right now nearing sunset. So I flew around the peak afternoon where the sun is like all bright, and now it's like nearing sunset. And yeah, so and luckily enough, Vancouver is on the same time zone as where I live in California, which is the Pacific Standard Time. So I didn't have to do any weird calculations such as adding or subtracting any hours, so which was convenient. So yeah, finally reaching Seattle. So I actually saw Mount Helens both back and forth, like from Vancouver to Portland, and then back from Portland to Seattle. So I guess it was really convenient. And now it's like nearing nighttime, so it was around 6 when I landed in Seattle, and that's about it. This is my second time in Seattle airport. First time I came like 2 years ago, so things hasn't changed so far. So I have to take a train to the other gate, so pretty excited about that. So let's go. So the end gate is actually connected by a train, so that is pretty cool. So let's go, shall we? First time going in a train inside the airport, so that's pretty cool. Oh, so it looks like there's a shuttle bus. So I think that's where we need to go. So shuttle bus.
C and D gates, baggage claim and ground transportation. Train does not stop at C gates.
So right after the train, I'm just going to end gates. It's obviously very close, but it's not connected from the airport, so you need to like catch this train and then go to the gate. So I like have like 3 hours, so all I'm gonna do is just chill, charge my phone, and that's about it, yo. Also something that I really want to tell you guys, it's 129. It says fresh fruit. These don't look fresh at all in any angle. So yeah, to the Space Needle. Again, it's culturally and weather-wise extremely similar to Vancouver. So I've also been here like 2 years ago. And fun fact for you, Seattle is where Starbucks originally was found. So in case you see Starbucks, it's actually in Seattle. So it's home to Space Needle. As we have seen all these poles. So that is there. And also fun fact, there's something called Big Bear. It's actually a myth. So sorry, Bigfoot. And there's a rumor or a folktale that he's in Seattle and by the forest area. So you can imagine my excitement that I was like super excited that I got bumped to business class, sorry, first class. The seats were like extra cushiony, super leathery. There was water beforehand in the plane by the seat, which was like, what? Like, seriously, it was insane. And literally, any request you have for the air hostess or stewardess, they just fulfill it. Like, for example, if you were to ask, hey, I need some tea, herb tea, mint tea, they would just make it for you. It's like they pamper you so much. And if it were an economy, they wouldn't give a shit about you. Sorry, but that's the truth. Anyways, yeah, it was like wonderful. I think the fact that I had to change so many planes to just get here was like it all paid off. Obviously, no Wi-Fi, but you know what? I ain't complaining. Finally going home, and I'm super excited. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.